We do have 10 other racers spread across 3 other channels. We've got Randomania 2 and 4 and Game Boy F9's channel to check in on anybody else as we prepare. But I think we're getting kicked off here. What do you think we'll see? What do you expect out of this race, Azrael?
Well, at least as far as the early predictions are going, we've got Jay Coper and Eternal Newbie who are in several people's list of who might make it out of this. We have 13 racers tonight across the channels. Only the top 3 will indeed make it to the bracket stage, where the remaining racers are already waiting. And we did see the Harp in the throne room, and Cole just a few steps away.
Oh yeah, Cole right by the castle is interesting, as we're about to find out what is in the spot, if anything. And it's the armor. That is immense to start with. And they can cash in the Harp right away. So that's already a crazy start. The armor can do so much for you here. Not only is it going to give you the best defense in the game that a piece of armor can, it resists all stop spells. It lowers the damage effects of Hurt More and Fire Breath and Hurt and all that good stuff. It resists any damage, tiles damage. It's completely broken, so that's one of the items you want to see right at the start if you can.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge assistance if we have Swamp that we need to brave our way through for explorational purposes. We do have the Staff of Rain Cave due south of Tantagel, and just another screen beyond that we have Sharlock as well, so not even a situation where we need to worry about the return spell or wings, as even if you have to do the Walk of Shame, it's really only about one screen away.
Yeah, absolutely. So we also have, we kind of got broken up by how exciting the start was here with items, as Jay Coper finds the Jerk. We've got the Hangry Canuck, who is definitely possible. He can do a lot of damage here as well. He's got a couple wins, very new, so the ceiling is very high for him. Wouldn't be surprised if he does very well in this race either. So.
Yeah, a lot of key locations clustered right around the start. Nearby Jerk is going to be amazing because once you're ready to think about Sharlock, you've just got one screen to walk, grab the drop, and then one screen to Sharlock. Not really too much travel time that's going to be needed. Big thing we're going to be looking for is the rest of the key items. We do need the Staff of Rain, which you get by turning in the Harp that everybody started with from the throne room, the Stones of Sunlight, and the Erdrick's token, in order to give to the aforementioned Jerk to get the Rainbow Drop, which opens the bridge to Sharlock. Notable about the token is that it can either be in one of the 3 search spots in the game, or a chest, and holy... Oh, okay. That was a Metal Slime kill for level 6. I was like, jeez, that was huge. Yes.
So, Jay Coper has to be feeling great right now. Not only does he find the mountain cave, survive, I think, a battle along the way to pick up a torch in the first chest, but then at level 1 has a metal slime kill, which at that point they won't run away, likely because the strength was so low. It was an automatic win, so now he's up to level 6 just like that, and we see the difference between the 3 runners right out of the gate.
Yeah, the only way you're getting that level of EXP this early on in the game would be if we had a Hurt More seed, which we do not, clearly. So a Metal Slime here is a massive boon. And notable on Jay Coper's screen, he just got a Magic Key, so that can open up some checks in Tantagel regarding the treasury or the basement. And additionally, he found a Cursed Belt, which is one of the symbols that will tell us the token or the flute are in their searchable locations, as there are 2 treasure chests that will either contain cursed belts or either or of the token and the flute. And should you find the token or the flute in a chest, that actually signifies that one of those search spots is indeed empty. And seeing as we already found the armor in the coal search spot, if we happen to find one or the other, we can possibly eliminate either needing coordinates from Cantlin or needing to find the search tile in Hawksness.
So that's definitely... Now, did Jay Coper, did he get that last chest before he got fire breathed right out of there by a stone golem?
I'm not quite sure. I think he did, and I don't believe it was anything of, like, immense value. But what is definitely notable here is we have gold in the treasury, and Jay Coper might be looking to cozy up and settle down for a nice gold grind.
Get out your sword magicians in chat.
And that is actually the Dragon Scale and the Stones of Sunlight.
So, I did notice that when the Eternal Newbie had gotten level 2, that the strength gain was pretty good. It was 12 points, so I don't think anyone is going to have a free Metal Slime fight if they didn't get to one of those Metal Slimes at level 1, like Jay Coper did.
Yeah, and that could be a pretty big boon for Jay Coper with what I would probably guess, even across all 13 runners, is a decent EXP lead. And on Eternal Newbie's screen, we see what we mentioned earlier regarding that very fast Eldrick's armor start. This is a pretty big swamp to either have to brave your way through or take a really long time going around, and having the Eldrick's armor to kind of ignore it is not only going to speed up his exploration a little bit, but just kind of ease his life in general regarding things like that moving forward. And we have the Hangry Canuck staying very close to Tantagel, trying to get up some EXP. It does look like we had a extremely low strength start, as we are 0 to 1 on the blue slime. And so definitely wants to get level 2 to get that extra strength gain and maybe start considering either some harder encounters by the castle or at least being able to move away from start.
Yeah, he's gotten very unlucky with some Drakeys with Hurt More and some additional, I think Drakeemas have Dragon Lord 2 Breath. It's just been very unfortunate that he hasn't spread this out a little bit more.
And we have Jay Coper with 24.8 thousand. That's going to be good enough for a Silver Shield and a Flame Sword, should he find them.
I'm not sure if anyone checked the shop in Cole before heading out with the armor, but...
Yes, Cole has club and it had some good armor, but we don't really need that. I don't believe Eternal Newbie checked the shops in Cantlin yet.
Yeah, so nothing really useful for Jay Coper. He will pick up a copper sword, though, to make his way to hopefully some better wares.
Yep, and if he can just get, I want to say it's only maybe like 3 screens to the east, he would find Cantlin, and that would give him some ability to check 2 other shops. What I actually think could be a really great play from Jay Coper is actually heading directly back down into the mountain cave and grabbing that key again. That key would allow him to open up the key shop in Tantagel, fully stock up his keys, and then once he finds the Cantlin, he could also check the coordinates and the 3rd shop as well, kind of skipping the need to find Remolder. It's going to be interesting here to see... Okay, there's the reset. Came in a little bit later than I would have expected given taking a death, but definitely is trying to hold on to the 24,000 gold that he used the gold grind to accumulate, so not surprised to see Jay Coper reset on just about any death here.
Meanwhile, Eternal Newbie is a little behind on experience, of course, but he's gotten a lot of exploration done early here, which can be helpful, but right now I'd definitely like to be Jay Coper in this race.
BT, what was the sword in Cole that he rebought? Copper, I'm guessing? Yeah,
Yep.
Yep, looks like copper. Alright, marked on the tracker.
Yeah, sometimes the early gold grind can be...
Yeah, I definitely think I agree with BT here. Rebuying the copper sword might be a little skeptical, especially when you're already kind of signed up to reset anytime you die. You got good strength gains from your 5 levels thanks to that metal slime. I don't think the copper sword's gonna make too big of a difference.
Yeah, I'm with you. It can definitely be problematic having the early gold grind and then getting tied to saving that gold.
Thankfully, he got that early metal slime kill, so
He got that.
Even if he's not gaining XP, he probably is feeling pretty comfortable that he's at least at parity or ahead of the curve as far as the amount of XP earned over the 11 minutes. Little does he know that the seed's actually a little grindier than that, and that metal slime was actually a huge gain for him. And yeah, as BT noted in chat, got a very, very friendly run from the Fun Police when they showed up.
Yeah, that's got to be like a single-digit % chance at this point, so that's crazy lucky, but he's still got a long way to go to find what he was looking for here.
And we officially have the other 2 runners on our stream in the mountain cave. Eternal Newbie did actually catch sight of a metal slime, but unfortunately, not actually being at level 1, it promptly made like Sir Robin and bravely ran away.
Yeah, that's definitely something that would make you nervous. Not so much in a smaller race or a heads-up race, but knowing that you're up against 13, or I guess in this case 12 other people, the odds that somebody, as we know, and Jay Coper found a metal slime really early is pretty good.
Yeah, seeing that around the 12-minute mark, you probably feel like you're behind some number of people. And now we have Garenham, which is a town we haven't seen yet. So it will be interesting. And apparently, okay, I was gonna say, was I mistaken that Jay Coper had keys, but he in fact does not. And we have hand axe and small shield in Garenham.
That is very unlucky on not even getting a large shield or a broadsword so far in the 2 shops he's gone to. Now, there was another town on that screen, and he used that one key that he got. Yep, he got that. He used that one key on the treasury, so he didn't have another one.
And there is Flame Sword.
Ultimately, you'd rather see the silver shield, but that's good to get one thing crossed off the list here.
Yes, absolutely huge attack power boost for Jay Coper and the keys. As I mentioned before, as we see Eternal Newbie, a little bit different routing, because by the time Eternal Newbie got the keys, or the key out of Mountain Cave, was able to have at least enough gold to purchase one additional one, and then was able to make use of the treasury to buy a full complement of keys without needing to find Rimmelder. And I did mention that it would be interesting to see if Jay Coper made the play of going back into Mountain to get early keys in order to kind of open up that early part of the game, but it doesn't seem like it's going to matter too much as we have gold in Rimmeldar, but did actually find Rimmeldar pretty quickly, all things considered.
Yeah, all things considered, Jay Coper hasn't extended this lead much yet, but that flame sword is going to be a good pickup.
Absolutely. And, yeah, interesting to not see Jay Coper just immediately beeline back to Garenham with the 3 chests and the basement check in Garenham. I think that's a little bit more priority than finding out what that cave is, but Oh, and not even walking back to Garenham to check with the keys. This is an interesting decision, and Jay Cooper could end up paying for it.
May stop now, but hard to say.
And we have the Grave of Garenham on Eternal Newbie side. I'm going to go ahead and say that that is the basement of Tantagel. And it is filled with fire-breathing trolls.
If he gets, he's going to go through Murderer's Row down there, apparently. I was going to say, if that sword, if Erdrick's sword happens to be in the grave, then that could be basically enough to even him up with Jay Cooper.
This is very true, and thankfully, if you die in a basement grave, the doors don't relock, so he has infinite times to just go back down here and try to get everything.
And he could set up a gold grind really easy for himself here, and I think he's found a few more towns than Jay Cooper has.
And we have Fighter's Ring in Garenham.
And an old man camping on a chest. No, that was the Fighter's Ring chest.
Yep, definitely notable for Eternal Newbie is the fact that we can just take infinite dives into the grave. So digging everything up here is going to be very good. We have the Death Necklace in Garenham Basement. And then on top of that, we have seen both of the Cursed Belts, meaning that the token and the flute are both going to be in search locations. So now we're going to be playing a game of, is the token in the overworld location, or is the token hidden underneath the boss in Hawksness?
So I'm taking a quick peek. I'm just going to do a rundown. We have 13 runners running. So the tie-dye guy currently at level 7. WMD88's level 6. McGrew level 6. Synth Pop is back level 6. We know Jay Cooper is level 7. Eternal Newbie level 6. We've got the Hangry Canuck is at level 4. Tristal and Captain Green 7 are both at level 8 and are currently leading in that regard. Although it looks like Captain Green got there first. The Seawolf at level 7, and then we've got Janice Seal, It's Too Early, and Lord of the Synth. Actually, Janice just got level 6, the other two are at level 5.
So, given everything that we've seen in this seed so far, which this is a pretty tightly clustered map, everything seems to be in relatively easy range of the castle. We've got almost every location checked off at the 18-minute mark, and pretty much every runner just in levels 5 to 8, so very, very close race. We could definitely see finding a grind spot or executing the grind being a really large determining factor in who pulls ahead later on in this race.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I think the next 10 minutes are going to make a lot. It's clustered right now. One thing that our wonderful trackers have put together as well is they're all tracking what weapons are in what shops, including our own Algebrap here in our channel. Thank you very much for the tracking, and Math Girl for the restreaming. But I can see from this program here that the shop at the bottom of Cantlin does have a silver shield, and he does know where Cantlin is, or Eternal Newbie does, so that's going to potentially be huge.
And that is one of the things that wasn't too far away from start that Jay Cooper has just managed to, expertly miss in every direction he's explored. So, the one other thing that he's looking for with this pile of gold that he's carrying around, not that far away from start, but he just hasn't gone in the right direction quite yet.
Yeah, it looks like one where Tantangel's kind of in the middle of 3 paths, and it looks like Jay Cooper's kind of taken 2 of those paths and hasn't taken the one that's going to lead him to the shield. It doesn't look like anyone else has found a silver shield anywhere else as of yet.
And according to our locations, we're only missing Motel 6 and the key locked shop in Cantlin, so only 2 more locations for the Silver Shield to even pop up.
Another notable thing we can say is that we are through level 8 and no heal more, no hurt more yet. So, how late will those spells come to our runners?
BTs, we have 100% confirmation that there is Silver Shield in the southeast shop of Cantlin. So we might be seeing Eternal Newbie head there if... Yeah, Eternal Newbie's got 25,000 gold. Definitely looking for the Flame Sword, which is in the key locked shop.
So he is realistically, I mean, Jay Coper's got the Flame Sword and Erdrick's armor. He's gonna be fine. That Silver Shield is just gonna mean that you defense break monsters faster, and that does typically play a big factor in how fast you can kind of build your levels on the go.
And we're getting the coordinate check on Eternal Newbie's side. Thou must go and search 10 north, 68, I believe that said west. So, not a terrible coordinate location. That's theoretically walkable. But yes, as far as equipment goes, I would be hard-pressed to say Eternal Newbie probably has equivalently the best gear out of any of the 13 runners. Possibly the actual best if they're the only one who has compiled all of the pieces so far.
So, yeah, it's just going to be very interesting here, and of course we can only watch so many streams at once, but there's just a lot of options here. That coordinate grid, though, seemed... I'm not sure how easy that's going to be to count out. There's water to the west, and I'm having trouble tracking how far they can go west, and I'm just not sure on whether that's possible or not.
Yeah, definitely haven't seen full-blown exploration in every direction yet, so it's going to be curious if we can actually get there or not. Could be potentially requiring Swamp Cave.
So Jay Coper just found the Silver Shield in Brecken area, which we had not, to I guess anyone's knowledge, seen yet what the shop held.
It does look like Jay Coper is the first to the Motel 6, and does get rewarded with the Silver Shield that he was looking for.
That definitely puts the... He still had the advantage, but definitely puts the advantage back firmly in his hands. Hard to say what Tristal and I think it was Captain Green, I said. Hard to say. They're at level 8, probably still. I could look, but I'll hold off on that. Hard to say if they have any meaningful advantage over Jay Coper here. I'd be willing to bet that he's right there with them, if not feasibly in the lead.
However, we do have the issue that Jay Coper is still looking for Cantlin, so Eternal Newbie has the coordinates, and the coordinates aren't the worst that we've ever seen, so I don't know if I'll give Jay Coper full credit for being in the lead here, maybe the EXP lead, but Eternal Newbie has a little bit more information right now than Jay Coper, and has equal ability to start closing that EXP gap quickly.
Yeah, early experience. There's less than a 400 experience point lead right now. That can be made up very quickly.
Indeed, as we're not even in the grind phase where you start seeing runners raking in 500 to 1,000 XP a minute, so something like a 400 lead could evaporate very quickly later on. Eternal Newbie getting sent back to the castle. This might prompt a coordinate walk. And BT is pointing out, we have early Death Necklace from Garenham Basement, and a multitude of towns nearby with Sharlock only a hop, skip, and a jump away, we could maybe see a really risky early death necklace play out of a runner if they are feeling up to it. And I think we're going to see Eternal Newbie check to see how far over they can go before electing to count the coordinates.
The Axe Knights with Hurt is very interesting. It looks like Eternal Newbie is going to be able to chip away at this guy and take him down for a big experience gain.
And we have Hangry Canuck finding Rimmildar and Garenham. Not sure if he's been down here yet. He does have keys already, so looks like Hangry Canuck was able to make the same play as Eternal Newbie did, where he found the Mountain Cave key with enough gold to access the shop behind the locked door for additional keys, and then use that to access the treasury, so that way he could stock up early.
Yeah, that was a smart play. I mean, definitely I agree with Jay Coper's decision to burn the key on the grind. Because I don't recall if he had enough gold to buy an extra key or not. But
I don't think he had even enough to buy one, so yeah. With the gold grind active because he was just in the mountain cave, definitely correct to keep the gold in the treasury, and it came with a key item as well, so that a little bit of a bonus.
I can give this brief update because it won't take very long. We have 6 runners that are showing at level 8. No one has yet progressed to level 9.
And if I'm not mistaken, we are only missing Tablet Cave as far as caves and shrines go, so we might be dealing with another Sword in Sharlock scenario.
Sword in Sharlock, and we either have the coordinates or Hawksness yet for the token. It's kind of a 50-50 there.
Yeah, and I do feel like if I was Eternal Newbie, I would be giving these coordinates a shot. Or at least try to get over there and scout whether you can, in fact, get 200, or 200, yeah, because we just had a Metal Slime kill on Eternal Newbie for 255 EXP.
Wow,
See
yeah,
whether
that's big.
the 68 West is walkable, because if that's the token, Eternal Newbie's in item go mode and just needs to find a grind at that point. So that would be a very reasonable position knowledge-wise, having all of your key items, knowing that you do not in fact need Hawksness, and then maybe just looking for the Swamp Cave in order to try to find a grind. And we have Wolves with Sleep, more of a nuisance than a threat at this point, thanks to our insanely high defense power, thanks to Erdrix and Silver. And this looks like it's going to be Hawksness on Eternal Newbie's side. So, as fortune would have it, he's going to get the Hawksness check, hopefully, before the coordinates check. Also, considering that he just happened to stumble upon this, that could be a huge time saver as well, not having to stress the coordinates anymore if you get the token here. And it's an Axe Knight, which we know have the Hurt spell. So this is a really favorable fight to find here.
That is just insane. He does get hit there. That's not going to do well for him. He might have to burn some heals, but if he can take this down, that's huge. And it'll give him the next level.
Yeah, right now it's looking like the chance to cast Hurt might in fact only be 25%. and that first encounter that Eternal Newbie had with an Axe Knight may have just been an anomaly, though Axe Knight trying to do a little bit of proving me wrong and maybe making it look like it's 50% instead with this little string of hurt spells consecutively here.
The defense is big though too. He's only level 8, but the Axe Knight is attacking him by 16 and 14. It's just crazy. We're gonna get a level and we're gonna get a
And
CD
it's
item
the
here.
flute.
Womp womp. So we do know that the coordinates are the token now, and realistically, I think we can... Did you say, are we still pending the token cave? Or, I'm sorry, the tablet cave?
Yep. Tablet cave is at large. And for what it's worth, I think the swamp cave is as well? Unless this is swamp here, which it might be. So, given that, yeah, this looks like he was in Swamp South, so possibly looking to go get the Gwaelin positioning system taken care of, though a little bit low on MP for trying to actually swing this. So,
yeah, Newbie, I think, is back
dicey.
in Mountain Cave.
No, I'm pretty sure this is... No, this is definitely not, in fact, okay, he's going for the last chest in Mountain.
And Jay Coper has found himself the Hurt Knight in Hawksness, and he's going to find his flute and be disappointed.
Oh, and getting an excellent move. Huge boon for Jacob for making this fight a little bit easier. Oh, actually going for a little bit of a grind here, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, just this is a great decision. So this is going to be the type of decision that can put you well ahead. We don't have Hurt More, we don't have Heal More, but we've got a high experience enemy that we can take down regularly. He's got a lot of MP to cast a lot of heals. This is probably the move that I think may put him on the winner's path here.
Yeah, the only thing is, how far ahead do other people get in assembling the last piece of the puzzle with the Erdrick's token? Eternal Newbie knows that grind spot's there, and we will more than likely see him revisit it the second he gets that token, but he knows 100% now that the token is in fact on the overworld, but elects to make like Jay Coper and revisit the Axe Knight right now to get some EXP going.
Yeah, I definitely like this play out of both of them here. If nothing else, it'll help them survive more, and if they do need to find Swamp Cave to get Gwaelin, because maybe this spot is just uncountable or on another continent, it's going to give them all the power to do so with a few extra levels here.
Agreed, and as BT is noting, whatever is protecting Gwaelin very well could be not trivial with the absence of Hurt More at the moment, or Heal More at the moment, so grinding for potential Heal More definitely could be beneficial. Actually, interesting on Eternal Newbie side, has no MP, so this was a revisit with no resources, honestly, so kind of curious in this decision from Newbie.
He must have seen an enemy he likes? I don't know. Yeah, that's a strange move. And he has the Fairy Flute, so... I mean, I still don't think with his current stats he could take down a Golem. But maybe the Wraith Knight is what he's after here. Unfortunately for him, the decision to grind these enemies versus the Axe Knight is going to put him firmly behind Jay Coper. But all you have to do is finish top 3, so...
Well, at this moment, he has no ability to heal, so the Axe Knight fight isn't exactly going to be safe. Looks like this might be his target, these knights. They give pretty respectable EXP for what level he is at the moment. As we see Jake Cooper hitting level 11. Will this be heal more or hurt more? No.
Wow, it is very... So, yeah, we're down to the last quarter of the levels that spells can be found at, and still no heal more, still no hurt more.
And these are the kind of seeds where plays like Jake Cooper is making right now really, really pay off. That absence of heal more or hurt more, just finding something to get you to those spells is so huge, because both of them can allow you to further your grind later on and expedite it as well. And just roaming around with neither is sometimes the right play, often the wrong play, and when you can actually navigate a fight like this Axe Knight and get an early grind just to find heal more or hurt more, can really pay off.
So racers with double-digit levels right now. Jay Coper with 11. Eternal Newbie is in second with 10, but also at 10, McGrew and Tristal. So the three veterans are starting to put a little distance between themselves and the bulk of the crowd here. Angry Canuck picking himself up some coordinates here as well. So we will see, hopefully shortly, some movement towards, I'm guessing, from Jay Coper and Eternal Newbie both making the decision to grind, albeit in different effectiveness here, that they feel that they are going to have to kill the enemy in the Swamp Cave to get that token.
And we see Hangry Canuck walking down here to Hawksfist, and this actually shows something I had previously missed on our map exploration. There is a town just one screen north of Hawksfist, so Eternal Newbie not going to the inn to heal and get the ability to grind on the Axe Knights versus the random encounters in Hawksfist. Just absolutely puzzling, and it's just widening the gap for Jacober. And we have Repel at 12.
The only thing I can think of, and I don't feel like...
Repel. Radiant, maybe?
Not one of the Moors. That way you know for sure.
Yeah, if it was Hurt More, I'm pretty sure we would have already seen a dead Axe Knight. Just gonna go ahead and wait for Jay Coper to need to heal here during this battle. And that suboptimal grind finally catching up to Newbie. I want to say it was Hurt. Nope, there's 3 spells above stop spell, not really sure. He got in and out of that menu very quickly.
I'm going to infer by the rate that Tristal is catching up in levels, at least based on the tracker here, that I bet if you tuned into that channel, he's also in Hawksness and just pounding away at these Axe Knights.
I believe we just saw that these knights also have heal, which can be a little annoying.
That can be annoying, yes, absolutely. I wonder if maybe Eternal Newbie had the misfortune of seeing that on his fight with an Axe Knight, and then that's why he opted into some less experienced and now riskier battles with the Golem.
Yeah, that is a very fair point. That is completely reasonable. Though, our runners have stop spell, so I think I might just give it a go using the stop spell strat on the Axe Knights if they show both heal and hurt.
Eternal Newbie also getting to level 11 here. Angry Canuck bringing up the rear. I think he's at the point where we might have a little bit of the grinder's fatigue going.
Yeah, well, very notable with Hangry Canuck is that didn't set up a gold grind, and that definitely gonna hurt you in this seed, as it's kind of a physical first seed, as we are still lacking heal and hurt more at level 12. You know, Hangry Canuck could just be like hoping that heal or hurt more is at like 7 so he can start catching up, but unfortunately for him, we know that even at level 12, we still don't have a heal or hurt more sighting. And missing 28 attack power and 20 defense in a primary physical seed is definitely going to hurt. As we have 13 for Jay Coper, and also no more magic. Somebody queue up Let's Get Physical, because that's the theme song for this run right now. And we have Eternal Newbie in the Axe Knight grind now. Maybe wanted to get a little bit of extra attack power to make this fight a bit more comfortable, and we also do see the stop spell strat, so using that to kind of mitigate part of the Axe Knight's offense and potentially even defense if that was indeed heal that I saw.
Even heal, well, yeah, they're doing enough damage to where it probably doesn't matter that much, but it's definitely annoying. It's going to take some extra turns.
And spoilers for anybody who is not covering all of the, or not following all the coverage at the exact same time, we now officially have confirmation that Sword is inside of Sharlock. So somebody went ahead and found the tablet cave. It was probably just a key or something very meaningless at this stage of the game. And we do have the confirmation that we will have to be checking the 7 chests inside of Sharlock for the sword.
We can also say that no one has gotten the token yet, though I imagine most everyone knows the coordinates by now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see everybody having access to the coordinates.
I'm taking a peek at some other streams, and Jay Coper has a firm experience lead. He is well on his way. I believe he is roughly 1100 above the next closest racer.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Jay Coper, definitely an amazing runner of all things randomizer, but additionally, this is the kind of seed that Jay Coper likes. We did see him take a spill during the Swiss rounds in a seed very familiar to this, where there was an extremely early gold grind, and unfortunately that seed had a little bit more difficulty in the exploration around Tantagel, and Jay Coper, trying to keep that money from the grind to get the equipment early, actually ended up costing him in the long run, as the difficulty of the areas around Tantagel just was causing a little bit of a struggle. And here we have the opposite scenario. We've got that early gold grind, but it's a pretty friendly layout on the map for what's around Tantagel. Was able to get a flame sword reasonably quickly, and then while it took a little bit longer than Eternal Newbie to find the Silver Shield, due to missing Cantlin, did end up actually finding it in Breckenary as well and getting himself very well equipped. And then just needing to kind of find some early XP, which he found on these Axe Knights, just playing this seat immaculately right now.
Speaking of gold grinds, Hangry Canuck is polishing off his here. He's going a little above and beyond the call for what he has, but a little extra gold doesn't hurt.
Yep, and by this point we know Hangry Canuck has found Cantlin and knows that there is a flame sword and a silver shield waiting for him there, so wouldn't be surprised to just see him beeline Cantlin right now.
Jay Coper seems like he is just going to grind until heal more. That just seems to be the play right now. And I gotta say, I don't disagree with it.
BTs, while I definitely agree with stationary grinding this early being a little bit of a risk because you're not exploring, we only need the token, so it could be more punishing for Jay Coper doing this grind. Unfortunately, doesn't realize, well, he knows now that the token's on the overworld, but he hasn't found Cantlin yet, to my knowledge, so could definitely bite him still not knowing where the coordinate location is, whereas Eternal Newbie can get that coordinates pretty much whenever he wants, and the stationary grind is much less punishing for him.
So another just quick thing, I don't know how much Math Girl can put up the stats here. I don't know if the race itself would delay that, but there are some interesting stats, including at 13. It looks like there must have been a pretty big power gain. I wasn't keeping track of that myself, but that Jay Coper's really ahead on attack power right now.
Yeah, and we're looking at Jay Coper's stats here. That's already fairly reasonable to start considering Dragon Lord. Get a little bit more power here, not anything to write home about, so we're pretty much just looking for heal more. And we do have hurt more at level 14.
That would be
actually the 2 more special.
Oh, that would be it for me then. So now I'm on BT's side, where when you have heal more, there's really no reason not to be grinding. Or I'm sorry, not to be getting everything set up so that you know when you're done grinding. It looks like Eternal Newbie has already gotten to the princess, and I completely missed how that happened.
Yeah, and so we have 127 attack power factoring in Erdrick's sword. That's a little bit low, so we're going to probably see Jay Coper go to 15 at least here in order to fish for either a huge HP gain or a huge attack power gain. The HP gain would possibly bring the Death Necklace into play, and that could easily make up for any difference in attack power.
At this point with heal more, though, I gotta think BT's right. You gotta start exploring now. You gotta finish this out. I don't know, maybe Jay Coper's got a good grasp on really all he needs to do is get the token and trade everything out. So he probably feels pretty comfortable that he's going to be able to find the coordinates really fast, but I would be wanting to get that checked off the list and then getting back to the grind afterwards.
And we have Flame and Silver finally for Hangry Canuck. So, a little bit late to the party, but at least gets his gear sorted out so that he can try to start making up some ground here.
Yeah, we've got Jay Coper, followed by Tristal and Captain Green levels-wise, and then Eternal Newbie right behind those three. But Eternal Newbie does have the token in his pocket now.
So that is huge for Eternal Newbie. Already knows that there's a good grind spot in Hawksness, and is now situated to just camp that spot out and grind Axe Knights until he has the stats to go take on the Dragon Lord. Doesn't need to sweat the jerk location because it's one screen to the west of Sherlock, which is only one screen to the south of the castle. So definitely in a grind mentality now, just needs to get a fairly respectable EXP lead caught up and minimized here, but with a subpar level from Jay Coper here, we're looking at probably 16 for go.
Yeah, the big thing here is Jay Coper is almost exactly double what experience Eternal Newbie has, and is firmly ahead. It looks like Tristal just got to 14, so he's on his way very, very similarly, but I think Tristal's making the same play Jay Coper is, grind first and ask questions later.
Keo, Jerk Cave is one screen right next to Tentagel, so not too big of a factor. And yeah, I think we're gonna see Jay Coper need to get, well, he has Caitlyn here, so if he doesn't have the coordinates, he has access to the coordinates right now. But we do need to see Jay Coper go count the coordinates out, and then get that token and then return to the grind. Or we might be seeing him actually return to the grind now.
Yeah, with the Axe Knight, I don't think you would gain a lot of time by getting the sword. If they were stuck grinding red dragons and golems and Axe Knights, I do believe that taking some time to dive for the sword early is beneficial. But I think this is definitely going to be a grab the sword on the way down sort of seed.
Yeah, you have such great EXP income in regards to time spent with these Axe Knights. So, pretty much no reason to get that, get the Erdrick sword anytime but on your dive. What's going to be big here is, do we have Vanilla Sword, which could throw a little bit of a wrench into everybody's plans, or do we actually have Sword in Treasury, which, granted, the Treasury is the 6 out of 7, but if it happens to be Vanilla and somebody elects to gamble Vanilla, or takes an early dive, gets to the Treasury, finds that the Treasury doesn't have it, they'll at least have the knowledge that it's in Vanilla, even if they can't complete it on that dive.
Yeah, so I guess we could go ahead and open it up to chat if we didn't already. Pick your Erdrick sword chest. I'm going to take the top chest.
I believe in our predictions game in the Discord, I called Sword in Rimmeldar, so I got smoked on that one.
Yeah, well, we'll let you double down now that we've got that narrowed down to Charlock.
I wanna call Vanilla here. I wanna see a bit of a wrench thrown in. This seed's been way too friendly and way too easy. We got people pretty much rapidly approaching go mode at sub-hour and getting ready to dive the Dragon Lord, so I'd definitely like to see a little bit of that wrench thrown in with Vanilla Sword. We might be seeing Eternal Newbie take an early dive in to look for that sword.
I wonder if he thinks, you know, with 111 attack power, 97 HP, he might be thinking, if I grab a nice level, I mean, we know it's not the case, but if I grab a nice level on the way down, I could be alright.
If that was the play, I would have liked to see a little bit more EXP taken from the Axe Knights before this play, though. We got 1,300 and or so to go for level 14. That's a little awkward to try to take on the way down, but I mean, yeah, you're gonna be able to pick up your EXP on the way down. Also, he's level 13, doesn't have hurt more for something like this Armored Knight, so
Yeah.
would have loved to see getting 14 before doing this.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to what I say. I wonder if he's not thinking, well, the sword is just going to speed things up for me, and with the Axe Knight, I don't really know if it matters.
Yeah, Axe Knight is just so time efficient. Pretty much any time the Axe Knight grind has been available to the runners during the entire stretch of this tournament, we have seen it utilized, except maybe barring seeds where it has sleep and like hurt more or breath, or I mean maybe either or hurt more or fire breath as well, and just poses too big of a threat to be consistently grindable.
It'll be interesting to see. There's some weird, and I see a lot of Axe Knights so far, which is decent experience, especially with baby breath, but it's going to be hard to make this walk down to the basement as anywhere near as efficient as an Axe Knight grind.
Yeah, you're gonna have trouble running from enemies. You don't have hurt more yet for some of the tankier enemies, or like green dragons or armored knights. It's just gonna be less time efficient overall. Granted, if he gets the sword, he at least knows that his next dive can be a straight line for the Dragon Lord, not have to peel off the beaten path, or will know that he needs to peel off the beaten path to get the vanilla sword, if that's what ends up happening.
Hangry Canuck is making a push. He's got double digits for the level now and all the equipment, so you know, we could see some crazy things happen here, but he's quite a bit behind. But let's cheer him on either way. He's looking in good shape now to make a push for the end game before too long.
You have very nice recovery after getting that gold grind instantiated and picking up the flame sword and the silver shield. As we highlighted, with heal more and hurt more at level 14, the seed, this was a physical seed, and the lack of the flame sword and the silver shield just simply hurt really bad for the early game.
So level 16
for Jacober.
Didn't look that great.
We got really nice MP now, though. And is Jacob electing? Alright, this must be a play for the princess and not for a different grind.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely just getting this for the token right now. He's getting his errands taken care of. The unfortunate thing is Newbie's not going to be able to make up as good of ground as Jay Coper was able to build just because of the dive choice here. But he is seeing Axe Knights now, so that's a good sign.
And Wizards, generally not going to be too bad either. They're usually around 3 hits to kill, and with the defense that we have, they're not really going to threaten you too much with their physical, so if that's all they have, not too much to talk about regarding them. And Slow at asking what the colors of the stats mean. So red is flat out, you cannot beat the game with it. White is decent, getting there. Orange is pretty much acceptable for the Dragon Lord, but not like perfectly ideal. And green is like A-okay. This is a very comfortable set of stats to work with. So we see on Jacob we've got green strength, green defense, green MP, and then orange everything else. So he's in a pretty good spot now to maybe take a gamble at the Dragon Lord. The Erdrick Sword would put him up to 134 attack power. That would probably give him a reasonable fight, at the least.
Yeah, I would say he's pretty well ready to go. I think, what does that come out to? About
134, so 34, 17 top end, 8 bottom end.
12.
That's an average of 12 and a half. So needs about 12 to 13 attacks. With at least that many heal mores. So yeah, I'd actually say Jacoper is probably a favorite in that fight, pretty substantially, honestly. Would need a back attack from the Dragon Lord to really mess up math at all. More than enough heal mores and good enough attack power with the sword in tow, given that it's in Sharlock. So would need a complement of low rolls to actually screw him up.
Now, Eternal Newbie shifted into a hurt more grind on the Axe Knight and Hawksness, so it doesn't look like he got the sword or got all the way down before taking a death, but we should see now with everything lined up well. I'm not sure where it looks like the other competitors for the top 3 spots are going to be Tristal and Captain Green. Very, very interesting here. It's going to be very, very close. It looks like, if I were to put it...
You have to factor Jacoper at 134 because he's going to get the sword on the way down there.
Yeah, that's one thing I had not taken into account immediately that you're absolutely right about. So if I'm going to do just a leaderboard right now, I'm going to say it's Jacoper, Tristal, and then it looks like Eternal Newbie is probably just a touch ahead of Captain Green.
Given
for that
that
3rd spot.
Looks like Captain Green is still absent of the token. Yeah, I think I'd give the edge to Newbie there, because Newbie's in grind mode to get ready to go for Sharlock. Fighter's Ring was in Garenham Jest. Actually, I believe it might have been in the basement, but it was located in... No, it was in the chest. Basement was Stone's Cave, which had the Death Necklace. I wish you could put 10 Fighter's Rings on. I don't even think you can hold 10 items, though. Allie, I'll pay attention if Newbie flashes his stats up. With 28 from the sword, the current ratio would be correct, but if we see a difference of 30 between strength and AP, we'll know that Newbie does indeed have the Fighter's Ring. And is Jacoper having a bit of struggle finding the token here? Kind of wandering around this second continent a little bit. Electing to return. Alright, he did get it? Alright. So we see with this Axe Knight, we have an EXP difference of just under 3,000. So Newbie able to make up a pretty decent amount of that ground that Jacoper had. Definitely not going to have the lead, but made up a pretty large chunk of it. Man, 20 Fighter's Rings, that's equivalent to 1 Erdrick Sword. But probably much less comfortable.
So we've obviously got quite a bit left to be determined, but it does look like Jacoper is on his way down towards finishing this game.
So at this point, If anybody is on strength agility, they'd have about 81 or so agility where J-Coper is, and only about 91 HP, so strength agility builds would pretty much have to commit for level 17 in order to have the 97 MP that you want for the Dragon Lord fight.
I'm sorry, I kind of spaced on your math there. I was checking in on some other stream.
Yes, Math Girl, the top 3 racers across the 13 will not be... the top 3 of the 13 will be going on. The other 10 will not. Alright, so we're coming up on the moment of truth. Is the sword going to be in Sherlock Treasury? As I mentioned, this fight looks favorable if J-Coper can get down to the basement of Sherlock with all of his MP remaining, and the sword is there. That will put him up to 134 attack power, and at that point we're doing some pretty favorable math for that fight for J-Coper. Would need most likely a back attack or an extremely long string of low rolls, or a little of A and a little of B.
Yeah, interestingly enough, it looks like, to me, Tristal is... I think he's grinding up to level 17, so that kind of opens the door for our other racers, but it does look like J-Coper has a commanding lead, barring any difficulty here on the bottom floor.
Is Tristal on strength agility? I think he's one of the runners that sometimes opts into strength agi, and that could be the reason for 17.
He's little D, so he is strength HP as well. I wonder if he didn't make the mistake that I had made in kind of eyeballing it and forgot that he only has the flame sword.
Perhaps. Because, yeah, these stats are quite favorable if you can get down here with all of your MP. And there is the Erdrick sword in Sherlock Treasury.
Top chest. I get my my door prize of 3 pencils and a pencil sharpener.
And with that, J-Coper has had a magnificent trip down. Sherlock has all 104 MP. This should, if he can make it this last little stretch, be a conversion into a successful Dragon Lord kill. Oh no. Fails.
No, okay, stop spell.
Ooh, tempting fate with the runs.
Oh no! Oh my goodness. No. Fun police. That was, how many run fails is that? I mean, the agility is not great, but it's not that terrible.
It was 3 run fails, and with 104 MP, we have 13 heal mores. I mentioned that we probably need something along the lines of 12 attacks to finish the Dragon Lord at average damage. Turns out, when you've got 13 heal mores and you burn 1, you got 12 left, and you're guaranteed more than likely a double to open and a double to close the fight. Probably should have burned a heal more there to give himself a little bit more chance to run from that red dragon. This could cost him first place in the race, but more than likely won't knock him out of the top 3.
Well, I can say this. Tristal is about to make his dive. It looks like Eternal Newbie is about to make his dive, and Captain Green is not far behind those two. So those fun police on that bottom floor might be the ones that determines who goes and who stays on this one.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the ability to give you a free turn with Stop Spell. That's sort of favorable for the players. However, they are the fun police. They hit very, very hard, regardless of what kind of gear you have. And they also have Dragon Lord Fire Breath, so not too friendly in that regard either.
It's definitely, as I think Jay Coper checks his, yeah, Yuno's calling it out in chat, the salty agility check. What the hell is happening here?
Yeah, 73, not too favorable when dealing with the Red Dragons and the Armored Knights. More than reasonable for everything else that we will probably see inside Charlock.
And Newbie has jumped into the lead. For all intents and purposes, he's on the second floor and halfway through it.
Yeah, that EXP lead and everything that Jay Coper had very quickly evaporated with just a little bit of bad run luck with a Red Dragon and electing to really try to hold tight to the 13th Healmore when he properly calculated his stats, probably could have burned it, and that might hurt.
And I will say, Tristal is making his way to the second basement right now. Right now, unless the Fun Police intervene, Captain Green is going to be in that very uncomfortable fourth spot. He gets down to 6 here. I'm starting to lose some frames. Eternal Newbie having kind of the run that Jay Coper had the first time down, just very smooth thus far. But he will have to stop and get the sword.
Yep, and as we know, that last floor is where that's the police station. We got those Red Dragons that might very well be the entire gatekeepers for the run, as they have done so many times before.
Tristal has actually jumped a little ahead of Jay Coper floor by floor here.
And Eternal Newbie is down to the basement.
Tristal, too, will have to stop to get the sword, so Jay Coper, it's neck and neck here, basically.
Notable is that Fighter's Ring, making the math very slightly less favorable for Eternal Newbie. Oh, and we see a Star Wyvern with Sleep. Thankfully, we're at the high enough defense power where it shouldn't be too bad even if we do get slept, as we would need probably 15 or 20 turns of sleep in order to die to a Star Wyvern. A little bit quicker with his sword cleanup here with a little unorthodox chest gathering route there in the treasury. And now we have Zifun Popo trying to do to Eternal Newbie what they did to Jay Coper, who is already back down on the basement and making the run for the Dragon Lord, looking to take back the first place that he just barely lost a few minutes ago.
Yeah, Jay Coper's sped through the last couple floors.
Oh, and we have the Popo as the Guardian. Looks like Dragon Lord hiring his finest of gods on tonight's race.
I give you my breath, my child.
Go and roast my nemesis with my dragon breath. Do not let them pass the gates. Well, unfortunately for the Dragon Lord, Jay Coper punched his way past that red dragon and is now looking to punch his way into the Dragon Lord's face. Getting a little bit of a friendly fight here with a stop spell.
Yeah.
2 stop spells even. So going to be going on the Dragon Lord 2 with... Oh, spoke a little soon. Just barely not taking down the Dragon Lord yet. We're going to be pretty close to full HP. Electing to use the herb on that attack. Now we're going to be locked into another herb. And yet another one. So losing a little bit of time here on Dragon Lord 1 trying to preserve that HP. Wait, yeah, there we go. I would just take my 85 into the Dragon Lord too. Though, did burn a heal more on the way down this time. So, still favored with 12 heal mores, but this could get a little dicey towards the end, depending on damage rolls.
Yeah, I do think the worst of it's behind him here, as Eternal Newbie gets past the Guardian as well. And Tristal, I can say, according to my screen, is not quite there, but I may have some lag in there. And we have two fools on screen right now.
And we'll see if Dragon Lord 1 is a little bit more cooperative for Eternal Newbie. It looks like we might actually have a slightly more cooperative Dragon Lord. Yep. Gonna get in with full HP for the Dragon Lord fight, so gets to open with a double.
And Captain Green really needs Tristal to have some terrible luck on this bottom floor, which has not happened yet.
BTs. What is DL2's Max Fizz? With defense 86, we are at the exact breakpoint for Dragon Lord's physicals to never outscale his breath. So we will not see a physical for more than 48 damage. So 48 is the full magic number for this fight.
And got SRL up as these start to come through. It does look like Jay Coper is doing just fine, but he is down to the last Healmore.
Yeah, getting a couple low rolls here, and that could be the danger. This looks like an overall favorable fight, especially if you didn't have to burn the extra heal more. And we'll get two more here, but low rolls could be the plague of Jay Coper's existence. Just enough.
Just got
over
there.
The line.
Get out your GGs for Jay Coper, folks. He's going into the brackets with a win tonight in the last chance race. But we shift our attention. Tristal entered the Dragon Lord 1 fight at 88 MP, so he has 11 Healmores. Could be interesting to see if he can make this fight work as well.
How much attack power did he gain from level 17? And we have Jay Coper with a first place SRL time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 33 seconds.
And just like that, Eternal Newbie is going to join him in the brackets. Just like we said at the beginning, these two are right there, 1 and 2. Heavy favorites for this, and they both pulled through with great rounds. Very great.
And Eternal Newbie finishing with a second place SRL time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 13 seconds. Just 40 seconds after Jay Coper.
What a fantastic run. What a fantastic run here by both. They took different paths kind of the whole way, figure eighting back and forth, and Jay Coper able to convert that Metal Slime kill early on in the game to a sizable lead.
I'm not sure how we're handling interviews with tonight's race.
I'm not sure either. I threw it out there, but we'll see what happens. I'm not sure if it's feasible or how that's going to work with Math Girl, so I hope they'll forgive me if it's not possible.
Yeah, I do know, following the third place finisher, the remaining runners will be given roughly about 20 minutes to finish, and then over on Game Boy F9's personal channel, we will be having the bracket reveal shortly after that third place finisher is confirmed.
Well, it's about to be confirmed. Tristal has pulled it out and gotten third place.
Indeed, Tristal, who was over on, I believe, RM2, but I'm not 100% sure about that one. Driscoll has finished with a third place SRL time of 1 hour 19 minutes and 42 seconds. So just about a minute and a half behind our first and second place runners. Tristan was
What a great race. Just what a great race. Looks like our friend Hangry Canuck has taken a little time to observe the chat and knows that he has been eliminated. Sadly, if you're a fan of college basketball, Captain Green's looking like that first team out of the bracket. He's well on his way, and I believe he's the only one currently diving. We've got a few runners approaching level 16, including the Seawolf, McGrew, and looks like Janice Zeal. So we've got some runners still rolling here, obviously, playing for bragging rights and honor, as was put earlier. And the Hangry Canuck is powering on. Very interesting. So the top three runners were separated by just over 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 9 seconds. It looks like at this point we are well beyond that for what fourth place will be. So I think, to be fair, to be honest, from watching a lot of these races, arguments could have been made for who the favorites were, but I think the three that got in are three of the racers that are scariest to those already in the bracket. I think.
Yep, I will agree with that, because I am very potentially slated to be facing one of these three, and I'm not looking forward to being matched with any of them. And we are joined by second place finisher, Eternal Newbie. Welcome and GG's. Congratulations on making the bracket stage.
Thank you very much. GG.
Very happy the way the race turned out for you there.
Yeah, me too. Everything seemed to fall into place for me on that seed. I was very happy with it.
Yeah,
what sticks out to you?
What sticks out? Seeing Cole on screen with the armor first thing was probably the thing that stuck out the most.
Yeah, you guys had early armor, nearby flame sword, and silver shield not even too far away either, on top of reasonably early gold grind too, so definitely was a speed seed to be watched, and a very physical one at that too.
Yes, I was very upset that we didn't get hurt more earlier. But
yeah, I think Hurtmore earlier could have potentially shaved maybe 20 minutes off of this seed with as many Axe Knights as you guys had to kill throughout this one.
Yeah, definitely. especially with them in Hawksness. When I first made my first dive into Charlock, I was planning on just going down to get just to get the sword to make the grind a little bit faster. But once I got hurt more, I just immediately went straight back into Hawksness to finish up grinding.
And we are joined by the winner of the play-in race, Jake Hoper. GG and congratulations on making the bracket stage.
GG.
Thank you. Appreciate it. GG to Eternal Newbie. And
Thank you very much. And GG to you as well, sir.
So Jake Hoper, what were your feelings about this seed and the way the early part played out?
I mean, you can't ask for much more than what happened for me in the first 5 minutes, basically. So I felt really good the whole time, even though the mid game dragged a little bit. I didn't think there was any chance that I wasn't a huge favorite for top 3 after 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, you getting the early level 1 metal slime kill to rocket up to level 6, and then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you were also the first to execute the gold grind as well. Definitely got a little bit of an edge there. Newbie got some exploration lead on you, but you had settled down into Hawksness pretty early to grind for heal more and hurt more, while Newbie was doing a little bit of exploring and picking up some EXP along the way. That gave you guys a considerable gap, which turned around with the bad luck dragon on the last floor there after you got the sword, which put Newbie in the lead until Newbie also had to dip over to get the sword, and you managed to get another good run down Charlock and pass him right there to be at the Dragon Lord first.
Yeah, that was a little frustrating. That's not something you want to have happen in any sort of tournament race, but I felt like I had 2 bad things happen in a row, but I don't remember. I know I wasted time picking up the token, though, because I thought it was going to be on the other side of the swamp cave. And yeah, I don't know. I wasted a little time there, but I still felt like I was mostly safe, and then I started to worry a little bit once I died to the red dragon, and I still felt pretty good for top 3, and it worked out okay, so.
Yeah, I was actually curious why you didn't elect to burn the heal more there. The math looked pretty reasonable had you only needed to spend the 1 heal more to get past that red dragon, but you elected to try to get away from it and conserve that extra heal more, which would have made the Dragon Lord fight all but 100%. As we did see, you got to the Dragon Lord missing that heal more the second time around and had a little bit of a nail biter for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, well, I don't like heal more in a fight if I can help it, because it just wastes time. But the red dragon seemed to have either 50 or 75% on stop spell, so I think it was just a pretty unlikely situation there. But I was having a decent amount of trouble running, so I guess the safe play might have been heal mooring. It didn't feel like the breath was that likely, but it happened, so I don't know. Lost my chance, whatever. I don't know. Coin flip isn't the right word, but just the odds went against me.
Yeah, and Eternal Newbie, I have a question for you. When you were getting your Hawksness grind going kind of earlier on, with the town right there 1 screen away, you actually elected to stay in Hawksness for a fairly extended period of time with pretty much no heals remaining worth of MP, just grinding on the random encounters in Hawksness instead of going back and healing and getting back at the Axe Knights. I was curious what the motives were there, because at that point, J. Cobra was in full Axe Knight grind swing, and that's actually where he started to open up the EXP lead on you.
Well, yeah, at that point, for some reason, I didn't even consider going to Cantlin to heal up. I was thinking that the castle is directly over from Hawksness, so for some reason I had it in my mind that I had to go back to the castle to heal up. So I was initially just going to suicide, but then I ended up defense breaking everything that I was encountering. So I thought, well, I don't have any spells to use MP with anyway, so I don't even need it. So I just ended up walk healing between battles and grinding on the enemies that I was defense breaking at the time. But yeah, I didn't even think about going up to Cantlin until like the very end. I mean, you saw I went back to Tanteagle to heal up MP whenever I started my Hurtmore grind on those Axe Knights. I didn't even think about going to Cantlin until right before I went to the castle to Charlock.
So a little follow-up question there. Definitely, that makes more sense. We were kind of questioning the move at that point because Jay Coper had settled into a deep grind on Axe Knights already at about the same level. So Jay Coper, can you kind of take us through your thought process at the point where you're in Hawksness and just decide I'm just gonna grind this until I get to what?
Basically, go mode stats. Like, there was still some uncertainty out there with, where the sword was for one thing, and what the enemy set was going to be like in Charlock. I think I did see one Red Dragon early, didn't I? And then I immediately ran from it, I believe. But other than that, I had no idea what they had, and no idea what a lot of enemies in Charlock were gonna do, what they'd be capable of. This was kind of a weird seed because I didn't kill a single Armored Knight, and the only Red Dragon I killed was the one right before the Dragon Lord. But yeah, it felt like, especially when the Axe Knight started using heal on and off, it seemed like he had a small chance to use it, mostly because it was 75% on hurt, I think. But it seemed like it wasn't as good of a play, but I still felt like that was the best move, to just stick it out, especially once I got to hurt more. That was definitely the way to go. And then just once I was getting close, I really wanted to get that level 16 to see what the stats were going to be before I went and cleaned up everything else, just to make sure I didn't need to grind more. Because if I was going to need to grind more, I wanted to just do it right there. But when I was just a few XP short, I decided I'm going to go and get the token and the drop and just clean up the rest of this level on the way. And that level ended up being pretty good, so it worked out well.
Yeah, it looked, though I do just kind of checking in with some other racers, and I did notice Tristal did go to 17, so I'm not sure if you had even contemplated going higher. It didn't seem like it, and I'm not sure that I would have either. But yeah, 16 definitely seemed like the level. Were you at all motivated to perhaps work up a little more agility, or was there anything that might have made you want to take an extra level?
No, I didn't really even think about it, and I don't know how much I even looked at the agility, because I had been running pretty well from things for a long time in this seed, that I assumed that my agility was pretty good. If I would have actually looked at it a second time and saw that it was 73, would that have given me some pause, perhaps? But I still think it was worth a dive into Charlock regardless at that level, most likely. And once I dive in there once, and get to the bottom floor, at that point, I think you just keep going and finish it off.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. So just to give a little update, we've got the Hangry Canuck here on Randomania 3. He's trucking along, grinding it out, and trying to get to the end of this one as well. We have not had another finisher yet, so I think we have what we can safely say are 3 clear-cut winners tonight, and another congratulations to both of you here with us right now. Right now, Captain Green is fighting the Dragon Lord on what equates to his second dive attempt. But we've also got the tie-dye guy just now entering the Dragon Lord fight. McGrew, unfortunately, just got stopped by a red dragon just short of getting the sword with full MP, so he was steps away from the Dragon Lord as well. So that's kind of an update as to where some of our other racers are now.
Do you know if anyone else killed a metal slime at low levels? Did what, newbie for
Not
one?
from what we saw. You had a very large EXP lead in that early game.
I got one around, I want to say level 8 or 9, somewhere around there. Yeah, that was the only one I got.
There were definitely early-ish metal slimes, but I really don't think anyone else got one at level 1, at least from what I could tell from the tracker.
Yeah, it was obviously pretty easy to get there, but it's not a play that a lot of people are going to make necessarily.
Well, what Azriel and I were talking about is level 2, which you wouldn't know, but level 2 gave 12 strength, I believe, as Captain Green is officially our 4th place finisher. But that would have immediately, at least to my knowledge, made it not guaranteed that the metal slime wouldn't run, and I think that getting there at level 1 was a big advantage for you.
I think we started with 5, so 12 would have only put us at 17, and I think as long as you're sub 20, they're not going to run. If I'm correct.
You may be. I don't know the number that well. I guess I was making an assumption there.
Yeah, I think it would have been good. Obviously, I had no idea what the leveling progression was like. That is just... I killed the thing, and then a bunch of numbers showed up, so that's all I know. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna pop out of here. But thanks so much for all the effort with putting this together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic.
Looking forward to the bracket reveal.
Yeah, we've got a bracket reveal that's slated to be in about 5 minutes, I think. Maybe a little more here, so that'll be over on, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Asriel, but Game Boy F9's channel.
Yep, that is indeed correct. We're looking to have that be around a 10:50 p.m. EST start time for the bracket reveal.
And I know you're involved with that heavily as well, so if you need to bust out of here, I can hold the fort. We do have a 5th place finisher right behind Captain Green 7, and that is the tie-dye guy. So we've got official times 1:36.52 and 1:38.25. What about you, Eternal Newbie? Any kind of last-second thoughts on this one? You're overall, I think, I mean, the difference, as you probably heard there, may very well just be that metal slime kill. Put Jay Coper on a route that was just a little faster, even though he did kind of even out with it on a dive before you had started to dive, but.
Yeah, no, I think overall, the seed went pretty well. I think I think I got lucky in my routing, honestly, because I found everything very quickly. But no, overall, I think it was a very, very nice seed, and yeah, I'm happy with how I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you'll find out later if you look through the spoilers channel for all the predictions, but I had you as my winner tonight. But
Sorry to disappoint, but
second place is it's just as good. I can definitely have you up there. So.
well, thank you.
I'm excited to see more of you throughout the bracket. Before you head out, if you want to talk about, because I know you are relatively new to the community, at least in the SRL community side. Maybe talk a little bit about your impressions for the first few months in the community for people that also might be looking to join up but might just need a little push.
Oh, this is a great community. I mean, Dragon Warrior is a game that I loved playing when I was a kid. So when I heard about the Randomizer community, I immediately wanted to jump into it. But yeah, it's been a great community. I mean, everybody is very, very open. There's always somebody that will lend you a hand or give you some tips if you're struggling with anything. It's we're really a big group of friends, and I think the camaraderie in this community is it's very welcoming. So I'm just glad I found you guys. And it's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking to grow the community, so it's great to see racers join up and like you have an immediate impact. I think you'd probably agree it's not a hard game to speed run and do pretty well. It's a hard game to speed run and do well consistently, but you've already managed that.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Couple questions kind of piggybacking off of that. Will we see you in the Chaos tournament that will more than likely be happening in the winter? No confirmation on that yet, but I think we're planning it, so stay tuned for that news.
Oh, and boy.
Any preference on the 3 people that you might be matched up against?
Oh, gosh. Well, as far as the Chaos tournament goes, I have not played a whole lot of Chaos. When I started the Randomizer, it was actually just before the tournament started, so I kind of wanted to use the tournament as kind of a way to get my feet wet, so to speak. So I actually have not played very many Chaos seeds. I think I started a couple, but didn't actually finish them. But as far as who I'm matched up with, I'm not sure it really matters. I don't expect to get very far in the bracket stages, to be perfectly honest.
Alright, fair enough. And with that, I am getting the signals that we are getting ready to wrap this up and go over to Game Boy F9's channel for the bracket reveal that will be going on very shortly. So, for myself, for JJ Schmidt, and all of our runners tonight, thank you for coming out and watching the play-in race. GG's to Jacober, Eternal Newbie, and Tristal, our top 3 finishers who will be advancing to the bracket stage. And we hope to see all of you over at the bracket reveal.